Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I am so thankful for all of you that do watch my videos and those of you that comment. Some of you were so consistent letting me know what you think, and I really appreciate that. Today, I am going to show you, it's originally a single page idea, but I'm going to show you how to make it into a double page spread. And it's out of the new Legacy of Love project playbook. So I've created a couple of other ideas beforehand with other paper collections so you kind of can see various different ways you can use this same technique. It's a very simple technique. It's one that I've used off and on for years, and it's triangles in the corners. So let's go ahead and switch over to my desktop and I will show it to you. Okay, so this is the first one. Okay, so this is triangles in the corner. And it is originally a single page spread where the triangles were put in the top corner and the bottom corner, the top left and the bottom right. But to make it a two-page spread, I've spread it across the 2 pages. Now, the initial directions said to make this an 8 by 8 inch square. This one is a 10 by 10. So I've made it a little bit bigger and then cut it in half in a triangle and spread it across the page. Now, originally I just had this border. This is one of the laser cut borders, so it was originally 12 inches, and I cut it in half and I added it to both sides of the page. I guess I should probably show you the original. This is what we're going to do today, but and it'll be very similar to this, but this is the original idea. So this was originally an 8 by 8 inch square that was cut in half and then put in each corner. And then the laser cut border was cut in half and put on the top and the bottom of the same page. So that's kind of the same idea where I cut this in half and kind of put it sort of at the top and sort of at the bottom. This is going to allow for a journaling box or another smaller photo or some embellishments in these particular corners. But then I thought it looked a little plain. So a couple of weeks ago, I created this border and showed it to you guys. This was one of the original ones. I took the border and I cut it in half. So I just cut it straight down the middle and I added it to either side of each page. So, see how it was originally the one border, okay? And then I cut it in half and added it to each side of the page. So it added quite a bit more of color, dimension, if you will, to the pages. So then when I add photos, see, and these are all larger photos, throw in an oval, throw in a few of these on your page. And then lots of times your photos aren't exactly that size. So you can add a few more various sizes. See, a nice circle photo would fit right down here. So this is a good way. This one's a little big, but then you can add a cluster of other embellishments or a title right in this area, okay? You could also add a journaling box, and that's really important. I know I've mentioned before that you need to put at least the who, what, when, where on your pages. So years from now, you'll remember who was in the photos. Trust me, you won't remember everything about all the photos. And then one of these days when maybe grandkids or whatever grab a hold of these albums, they'll know who was in them, and this would, the photos will have a huge, much more amount of meaning to them. Okay, so this is just one side of those pages. We can do the same thing now with, oh, here, I'll just the rest of these up because I want to use them on the next one. Okay. Um, so this was used on the Mend paper pack. This is on the Road paper pack. So here I did use the 8-inch square, cut it in half, and showed you both corners. And this is really plain. They had an embellishment in the middle. And what I did for this was I took the small circle pattern. I cut this piece, which matches these, and it was left over from the 8-inch square that I cut. So I used the red blade for this. Then I did this one with the green blade. Then I used the On the Road border punch and added it to it. So that could kind of go in the middle. So then if you wanted, you could add some more photos. You can add some smaller circles like this here if you wanted to. And then another photo up in this corner. So you can get quite a few photos on this page. Switch one of these out and make this a journaling box. Okay. But if you wanted to make it a double page spread, you'd pull it across this way and then take this piece off. Okay, put it over here. And add it to this corner. Okay. And then you can add another 4x4 photo. You can make a journaling box. This particular backing was with the red blade on the small pattern. Okay. And then this was the blue blade, which gave it a much bigger reveal on here than this one using the green blade. Okay, so the matting is wider on this. So then you can add other photos. Bring your other photos here across. This sticker is a 12-inch sticker in the pack. And you can add, just put one straight across the edge here, one straight across the edge up on the top. Kind of move that around. Or this is the On the Road border punch. You can add like this on the bottom. And I think what I'm going to do is cut this in half. Okay, so it's a 12-inch piece. I'm going to cut this at 6 inches. Okay, and then add this one down here, this one down here. And then if I want, I can add this one, maybe across the top. Okay, just pull in the double page spread. The other thing I also like to do was this was left over from when I cut these pieces out. This is probably 1/4 of an inch just piece. And I like to add these right along the edge of these triangles. So see how that adds a little bit of color right there? The other thing you could do is put this one over here. Add this one along there. Okay. And then you could take this other sticker and pull it across the top. So it just adds a little bit to your photos. Don't be afraid to put your photos over your decorations because you really want to enhance your photos and not the decorations. Okay. So we can do this. Okay, make sure you've got your journaling boxes. Add another photo in here. Okay, so then you've got a double page spread. And maybe put like this up here so it doesn't overlap too much. Okay, so there again is your double page spread. So I'm going to make the other one. And I'll make it initially into this single one. And then we'll go ahead and expand it out to the double. All right, so I'm going to be using items from the new Legacy of Love paper pack. It is beautiful. Look at this paper right here. Isn't this pretty? It's got the muted colors. You could use this for fall. You could use this for camping. You could use this for all kinds of other pages besides just the one we're going to be using today. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use this whole pack of paper, and I'm going to do the whole project playbook, but I'm only going to do one a week. So look forward to the rest of them. Here is one. Here is another one. These are all 2-page spreads right here. And another 2-page spread and another 2-page spread. This is going to be a real fun one because it uses leftover pieces from this one here. Okay, so we will go ahead and do the first one. I'll probably intersperse maybe a couple of other borders as we go along, but look forward to this series. Okay, it's going to be a five double-page spread series. So move this out of the way. These are going to be my 2 background sheets, okay? The instructions say to use just this one. The instructions say to use this one as the one for the triangles. But if I did that, then I'd have 2 separate backgrounds, and I wasn't sure I really wanted to do that. So I chose this sheet. This one was not used. With all the 5 sets of pages in this series, you had 2 sheets left. You had this one and one other sheet left. So I substituted this out so that I could have the 2 background pages and make this a double-page spread. So on this one, I think I really still like the 8-inch square. The 10-inch was a little big, and it made it difficult to make it into a triangle. I had to fold it and then hand cut it. So if I do this back with an 8x8, and maybe I'll do, so I could do a 9, which I think would still fit to cut on the trimmer. May have trouble. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. This one I'm going to make into an 8x8-inch square. So it's going to be a little bit larger than the 8x8 of the original. But this is an 8.5 by 8.5. Let me make sure I did that right. Yes, 8.5 by 8.5. And then I'm going to put it in the trimmer, and I'm going to cut it into 2 triangles. Now make sure, I think if I did a 9x9, I still would have room to be able to cut this on this trimmer. I'm going to pull this piece down, and I'm going to make sure I'm right on that corner as much as possible. So that it is a straight cut on there. So see if I pull this piece down, see that black line in the middle there? That black line in the middle of the plastic piece, if I pull this down right to the edge of that corner, I can see if I'm going to get it right on or not. Because it kind of blends in, I can still have a little bit of trouble with that. Okay. Now I don't want to cut straight from one edge because it may just bend the paper. It may not, but it may. So I'm going to start kind of in the middle, push up, and then pull it down. And then that way I have my 2 triangles. These 2 pieces of paper we're not using on this particular set of pages, and we're not going to actually use it through the rest of the series. But I'm going to set them off to the side just a little bit because it'd be really fun to make a little journaling box out of one of these, or a couple of journaling boxes. Okay. So that's the only cuts we're going to make. This one's really fairly easy. Now, if I pull this out, this is my background page, put this on here. The original would have this up here and this down here. It would take one of these Legacy of Love laser cut borders. There's so many pretty ones in here. And this is the one the instructions use. So I cut in half, put half of it up here and half of it down here. So that's really pretty. Then it took an embellishment and put it just right in the middle. So you can see how really pretty and easy that is. Then you add your photos. Okay. You can have larger photos, smaller photos. I really kind of like this look going down the sides. What did I do? Here it is. Ooh, and that actually fits right in there. Isn't that cool? Did you see that? Look at this. The circles on this background. This fits right in there. That is really cool. I like that. Okay. Then add a couple more photos. And this would go down further. Okay. And then my page is done. So it's really simple, really easy. But now we're going to make it into a 2-page spread. So I'm going to move some of these out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the top of the page. Because this one is going to stay in that corner. Okay. Move this one over. And then get the other sheet. And add this one to the bottom right of the right-hand page. Okay. Now we can add some of these. So if we want, we can take this, we can trim it here. We can bring it down and add it here. Or we can put it down here. We can add a different one to the top up here. Those are roses. Aren't those pretty? Or we can take like another one, put it here. And I'm thinking this through as we go along, so bear with me here. What would I do if I just did it halfway? I would just put my photos on the bottom and photos at the top. All right, so I'm going to cut both these in half. That's 6 inches. This one is really pretty, but it didn't show up as well. So I'm going to put that off to the side. So I'm going to cut this at 6 inches. Maybe not exactly. I want to get I'm going to do this by hand. This is 6 inches and it's right here. So this one doesn't need to be exact. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut it so that the arrow stays the arrow. Oops. Go on. Okay. I'm going to trim that arrow just a little bit because as you can see, it's just not quite exact up against this. So I'm going to make this more. The arrow there. Oh, so okay, you can see how it's just a little off. So I'm just going to cut that piece off. Okay. So I've kept the arrow on it instead of cutting it in half. And then the arrow piece is on this side as well. And I need to trim that just a little bit. Get that little white piece off of there. Okay. Now I'm going to cut this one at 6 inches. And again, I'm not really sure I want to just chop it off. So, because I may want to use that side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to just pull this up like this and cut this one around like this. Okay, so instead of just cutting it straight off and just leaving kind of a straight kind of, I don't know what you would call it, not really a jagged piece, but just adding a little bit more dimension on here and kind of make this more, this in here, and then pull this around like this. Okay. Turn this up a little bit. There. So it makes it look a little bit more like a flower. All right, now I've got these pieces. I'm not going to I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to put them. And I think I really like these here. So you can leave this going off to the side. It won't show very much, or you can tuck it underneath because it just kind of blends in. And tuck it underneath. And if you tuck it underneath, then it really didn't matter if you just cut it straight across. So we'll just put that one there, a little adhesive on it. Stick it back underneath. And do the same on the bottom down here. Oh, what I forgot to mention to you guys, I've been putting it in the comments the last few times, but I do a Monday night Zoom. It starts at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and it goes for about an hour, hour and a half, depending on how long it takes me to show the idea. So if any of you are interested in joining me, you can email me at deannecmc2@yahoo.com. Let me know that you're interested in joining the Monday night group, and I'll put you on my email list. And then you can start joining in on the fun. I do record them. So if you miss them, you'll get the recording emailed to you the same night, unless I get busy and I don't do it till the next day. But then you can watch that page idea And because I do various things from the blog and from the Creative Cafe International weekends that they teach, and the project recipes or the um, virtual crop weekends, those ideas, those sketches. So if you want to join me, send me an email and I will put you on the list. Okay, so we've got those on there. Then what I probably want to do is pull these across kind of like this. And then I can add a photo that will go maybe like this. So it would cover up the part that we don't have. So bury all of these. Here again, we could put a photo up here. And it'd be best for the particular photos that you might want to use. If they're really light color like this is, you'll want to mat them with another coordinating cardstock or something like that. So you can actually see where these are going to go. So maybe add a photo here. And then their photo here. These are 3.5 by 5s. You can do 6 by 4s. And let's see. I might want to do a journal box in here somewhere. So I could add, now this isn't with the same paper, but it kind of blends. I could put a journaling box here just to explain the who, what, when, where of these photos. And then I'll go ahead and put other photos around that. There could be a 4 by 4. It could be a 4 by 4 square. Let's see, did 3.5 by 5 fit there as well? Yes. Okay, so I know that there are a lot of people who like to have complete uniform across your pages because they tend to look better. I really kind of like to look at my photo and trim off the pieces that I don't need in the photo, which could make it and not the same size as some of the other photos on the page. So um, it just all depends on the sizes of my photos, because when I trim my photos, I want to trim up to focus on what I originally wanted to take the picture of to begin with. Now, some, if you want to keep the backgrounds and stuff, because that meant a lot to you, maybe it's a travel photo, something with a castle in the background, you don't want to cut that out unless you've got a billion photos of that castle. And so then you focus on who you were taking the picture of. But if you're at Disneyland, there's a bunch of people behind you and you don't know who they are, and it's just a crowd. Do an oval, do a circle, or do a much smaller rectangle or square to cut the photo to focus on what you originally wanted to take the picture of to begin with, which could cause your pages to not have the photos exactly the right size to make it much more uniform. Okay, so whatever the look you like, go with that. And then you'll be able to just finish your page to make it look the way you want it to look. If you like them all uniform, perfect. Put lots of 5.5 by 3.5 photos and just arrange them on there the way you would really like to see it. Or if you're like me and you just kind of have different sizes, then do different sizes that way as well. Okay, so we're done with that. And what you also could do is make a journaling box, kind of like this, and cut that out and put the journaling box in it. So isn't that cool? I really like the look of that. I wonder what this size is. This is pretty close. So you'd have your journaling box here with this embellishment that came out of, I didn't bring it with me. Oh, I did. Came out of this Legacy of Love embellishment pack. So there you go. There's your page. It's all completed. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a marvelous week. And oh, if you want to join my Facebook group, here is my Facebook group name, Let's Scrapbook with Deanne. I try to put these ideas on there, other ideas that I see. And if you would like to share the ideas you have created using my ideas, this is a great place for you to share that. All right. So I will be talking to you later. Again, have a great week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.